everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me, really appreciate your company. Today we're going to be taking a look at the W-Dragon Giganotsaurus figure. Now if you've seen my previous review of the Nanmu Studio's Giganotosaurus, you'll see that this guy had a very quick cameo in that video, and I did say that I would be reviewing this one separately, so here is that review. Now I don't get boxes with these figures, so I can't show you the box, so sorry for that. If I can find a picture online, I'll add it in somewhere so you can see what the box is like, but we're here mainly to talk about the figure itself. So what does this guy come with? Well, obviously you get the main figure, but this one does also come with a stand. Again, if you've seen the Nanmu one, you'll see that there was a stand available for that, but it cost like an extra $20. This one came with a stand, which is quite nice. So let's have a look at that. So you can see here, this is obviously where the forefoot goes in, and you've got all this sort of, I mean, it just basically looks like rock and mud. It's quite nice though, it's nicely sculpted, nicely painted. And underneath you've got this nice felt base, which I do always appreciate because this stops scratching on your surfaces, so that's quite nice. But yeah, it's got a little metal peg here that goes into the base of the foot. So as you can see, there is a hole there, just in there, and this just plugs in like so. Now I will say that the connection isn't massively strong. It's okay if you don't fiddle with it, but that's not going to do it now. Every time I pick this thing up, that's fallen off. Okay, it's on there quite well now. But yeah, for the purposes of this review, I am just going to take it off the stand now that it's decided to stick like flipping super glue. But yes, it's a nice stand. It's, you know, it's appreciated, it came with it, so I don't have to buy it separately or anything. Right, so the figure itself then. This is from a company called W-Dragon, and I have to admit I know next to nothing about them. I have been eyeing up their Brachiosaurus for, I mean, it's got to be over a year now, if not more, and it finally hit the sale for like $100, but I needed to make the money up to get the discount and get it here tax free. Shh, don't tell anyone. So I bought this because I thought it looked nice in the pictures, and I have to say it's okay. I think had I bought this and not the Nanmu one, I would have been quite happy with it, but because I bought the Nanmu one as well, this one seems a little lacking, but we'll get to that. So before we do get into all that, let's have a look at the figure up close. And it does have some good points, don't get me wrong. I don't hate this figure, I think it's a really nicely done figure for what it is. So as you can see, it's nicely sculpted, but it is just sort of generic sculpting, I would say. The head part seems to be individually sculpted, so this has got some like, you know, individual scales and whatnot, but it just sort of tapers off about halfway down the lower jaw anyway. This bit here isn't as pronounced as on the Nanmu, but it does have some interesting features. Like this one has clearly been in a fight because the left eye has been blinded, and there's some scratches here, here and here. It looks like this has been done quite recently, so that's an interesting addition, I think. And I do like the colour scheme of this one as well. I do like the blue, I think it looks really nice. You can see in the snout there, it just catches in the light. There's a little bit of gloss paint in there, so it makes the nostril look quite damp, a bit moist. But yeah, it looks quite good, and you've got some nice glossy paint here that makes the mouth look wet as well. Speaking of the mouth, let's get in and have a look on the inside, and see, yeah, it's pretty nicely sculpted in there. Tongue looks nicely done. You can see the The roof of the mouth is very nicely sculpted and painted. So yeah, it's pretty good. The teeth are very nicely done. I like the individual sizes, and the coloration is pretty good as well. And unlike my Nanmu one, this jaw is quite nice and tight, so when I close it, it stays closed. Oh, this one's playing me up, isn't it? Well, it was staying closed. Now, because we're on the camera, it's decided to be a little so-and-so, and now it doesn't want to stay closed. Alright, you do that then. Alright, so going down the figure, as you can see, we've got some detailing here, but this is where I think this figure falls down, especially in comparison with the Nanmu. On the Nanmu, all of the skin is individually sculpted, little scales. This one has got this sort of, I don't know, it's like sort of a cross-hatching going on. It's more like a generic thing, so they've got some scales and then they've opted to go with less scales, or fewer scales I should say, and they've gone with this sort of cross-hatch skin, which is fine, you know, it's a nice enough detail. You go down the neck here, you've got this lovely neck. I do have to say this is very nicely sculpted. This cross section here. And we come down to the itty bitty little hands. Again, everything's nicely painted, you know, it's not a bad figure by any stretch of the imagination. It's just it's nice. So then we go further down the legs here, and again it's more of this cross hatching. I do kind of like this sort of tiger stripe detailing that they've done with the paint. That's quite nice. And I like how this blue comes down the front here, goes down the front of the leg. That's very nice. There's the feet, the little feet, and then it's the same sort of detail work all the way down the tail, all the way down to the tip, and it's painted all the way down there as well. And then unlike the Nanmu, there's nothing really going on in the spine area. You get some slightly raised pieces. It's mainly just happening around the head here. Now I do really like the sculpt work here for the head and the top of the neck there. It just sort of falls short. It sort of gets to about here, to where the front arms are, and then it just sort of stops. I will also say with the Nanmu figure, I liked how they'd sculpted in the muscle detail for the arms. This figure you can see it slightly here, but it's not as prominent. So yeah, just flip around the other side so we can take a look at that eye, because the eye is done in a really nice green. So that's what the unblinded eye looks like. And again, very nice detailing, a little ear just there, you know, and it's basically the same as the other side. I'll take some photos and add them. I always try and upload photos to my Instagram as well, so check that out. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. So, just so as we get an idea, let's bring this one forward and bring in the Nanmu Studios Giganotosaurus. Jeez, I've got to get it balanced. There we go. So you can see what I was saying here about the, you know, the sculpt work here goes all the way down the back, all the way down to the tail here, and it just sort of stops on this one. I think the muscle structure is better on the Nanmu. See what I was saying here about seeing the muscle structure for the arm? It's a lot more pronounced here, not so much on this W-Dragon figure. I think overall the paintwork is better on the Nanmu. I love the head sculpt of this. I think if W-Dragon had done this head sculpt with more of this sculpt work for the rest of the body, I would have been a lot happier with it. So, but it's, you know, it's personal preference at the end of the day. You might say that this is a much better figure, and that is absolutely fine. Personally, for me, I think that the Nanmu pulls it off better, and for $10 less. So, but that's just my opinion. That's not to say I don't like the W-Dragon. I do. I think it looks great. Sorry, I was just putting the other one down. For the price, I think it could have been better. So that was that. For more scale, let's bring in the Nanmu Indoraptor. So you get a good idea. It's not a small figure. It's quite large. So there's that. And just for fun, let's just bring in this little PNSO baby T-Rex that I picked up. I'll be doing a review of him as well. He's adorable. Yes, it's not a tiny figure. It's not a huge figure. It's a good size. But yeah, it's not bad. So all in all, if I'd have known that this was going to be, what can I say, less impressive than the Nanmu, I maybe would have left it and maybe would have got a second Brachiosaur. Because I kind of like the idea of having a couple, like a small herd. So I wouldn't say that I'm disappointed necessarily in having bought this figure. It will go nicely with the other figures. I will maybe have this one as a smaller rival, maybe to the Nanmu. Headcanon, maybe this one comes along, tries to steal some food off the Nanmu one, and it's the Nanmu one that's given the W-Dragon one this blinded eye. Maybe something like that. I'll find some room for it in my collection, so I will be keeping it. And it's nice to have the stand as well. The stand is very nice. So, but that having been said, if you are in the market for a Giganotosaurus, I would highly recommend the Nanmu above this one, simply because I think the design is better. The sculpting is definitely measurably better, and depending on what colour you go for, I mean, you saw I went for the sort of the grey reddy coloured one, but depending on which one you go for, I think the colour's better as well. But this one's fine. So. Right, so that's it for now. I do have some other dinosaurs lined up for review, so keep an eye on the channel because I will be putting some more up. There'll be some more Nanmu, there'll be some PNSO, and I've got a brand new iToys one. I've not bought iToys before, so we'll see what that one's like. So that's it for now. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you'll join me again soon for some more dinosaur reviews. Until then, bye bye.